Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sutra-82. There is no difference between the sleeping and the waking states. Asane shayane sthitva niradaram vibhavayan swadeham manasi kshine kshanat kshina shayo bhavet. When you sit down or when you are sleeping, be firmly established in the state of no support. In that moment, the mind fades away in the awareness. The awareness is the most subtle. That which is subtle is pervasive and free of limitations. For example, the ice is gross. It just stays in one place. The water is subtler than ice. The water can flow. It has more freedom when compared to the ice. The steam is subtler than water. The steam is more pervasive. It has more freedom. The subtler it is, the more it is pervasive and free. The awareness is the subtlest of the subtle. It is free of every limitation. The spiritual process is similar. The more it becomes subtler, the more you are moving towards the limitlessness and freedom. The dharana said in the sutra is very subtle. This must be understood and put together along with the dharana described in Sutras 80 and 81. Sutra 80 said, Sthula rupasya bhavasya stabdam drashtim nipatya. Bring your mind to focus on a gross object. The gross object becomes the alambanam for the mind. Sutra 81 said, Madhya jihve sparitasye madhye nikshipya chetanam. Utter the shabda ha in the mind. Let the mind dwell on the middle space. A great principle rises in the sandhisthana. Meditate on this principle. The sadhaka is exposed to a subtler meditation when compared to Sutra 80. In Sutra 80, the object was gross and it was outside. In Sutra 81, the object is subtle and it moved inside the mind. The dharana in this Sutra 82 is subtler. The subtler it is more pervasive and you break yourself free of limitations. This sutra says, Asane shayane sthitva niradaram. We should understand niradaram. Niradaram means without support. In Sutra 80, the external gross object was the support for the mind. In Sutra 81, the object moved in the mind as ha shabda and became the support for the mind. The ha shabda uttered in the mind is subtler than the gross object that was outside. In this sutra, it is said niradaram, means without support. This dharana is subtler. It is subtler than the dharanas mentioned in Sutra 80 and 81. There is no support or alambanam. There are different levels of subtleness. The awareness is the most subtle. It is the subtlest of the subtle. In this dharana, you are moving closer and closer to the awareness. The mind is slowly dissolving. This is how it happens when you are watching a cinema. The cinema hall is filled with darkness. A colorful movie is being played on the screen. What happens when someone opens the exit door? the light from outside rushes in and pervades the cinema screen. The cinema that is being projected on the screen will fade away. The outside light overpowers the cinema that is projected on the screen. Similarly, the mind that is projecting thoughts fades away as it moves closer to the awareness. The awareness alone is. It is niradharam. It is supportless. It is of independent existence. The mind requires a support. The awareness is the support for the mind and for everything else in the creation. The awareness is prakasha. It is the subtlest of the subtlest. It is smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. This means that the awareness is not available to the mind and the senses. This prakasha illumines the mind and the senses. The mind experiences the world through the senses. The world belongs to the nama-rupa prapancham. The creation is centered in the prakasha by which everything else is known. Prakasha is Bhairava, the immortal Brahman. This is Satyam. This alone is worthy to be known. This is the message of the sutra. Now let us look at the dharana. It is a very subtle dharana. Asane shayane stitva niradharam vibhavayan swadeham manasi kshine kshanat kshiinakshayo bhavet. Asane shayane stitva. Asanam is a seat. Being in a sitting posture or while you are sleeping, shayane, remain supportless. Niradharam. Niradharam vibhavayan. Vibhavayati means being established. Being established in the awareness. The identification is with the awareness as I am this awareness. There is diminished identification with the body and the mind. Kshina means diminished. Kshina kshayo bhavet. Kshina ashaya bhavet. Ashaya means intention or will. This is the will of the sadhaka. The sadhaka does not have any individual will. The individual will means identification with the body and the mind. The mind of the sadhaka is turned towards the awareness. The mind slowly fades away. Kshine kshanat. Swadeham manasi kshine kshanat. Kshayati, kshinoti, kshinati essentially means destruction. While you are sleeping or sitting, be firmly established in the state of no support, niradharam. In that moment, the mind fades away in the awareness. Asane shayane stitva. Sitting and sleeping. Stitva is in that position. Shayane means also a couch. We can take it as sleep here and not a couch. Asane shayane stitva. In that position of sitting and sleeping. Sitting means the waking state or the jagrata avastha. Sleeping is sushupti avastha. In both the sleeping and sitting states or the waking and the sleeping states, you are absorbed naturally in the awareness. In the waking state, the sadhaka is established in the natural state of awareness within, while still actively engaging in daily life. Natural state means effortlessly. This should be the goal of the sadhaka. to be established in the natural state of awareness without effort. In Sutra 80 and 81, there was an effort required to keep the mind on the object. The sadhaka naturally transitions to an effortless state when the mind is subtle. Bringing the mind again and again to focus on an object is dharana. Dharana requires effort. Over prolonged practice, when the mind continues to remain on an object without effort, it is dhyanam, or what we understand as meditation. Dharana takes the sadhaka to dhyanam. The sadhaka reaches a stage where there is a continuous state of awareness in the waking state, even while he is engaged with the world. What happens when the mind goes to sleep? What happens when the mind returns from sleep to the waking state? In whichever state the mind was before entering sleep, it will return to the same state when it wakes up. There will be no change at all. For example, if the mind is thinking about going for an exotic holiday before it enters the sleep state, and when it returns from the sleep state to the waking state, it will return to the thinking process about the holiday planning. However, when the mind enters the sleep state with awareness, it will return to the state of awareness when it wakes up. We know this by experience. You can see it for yourself. What were you thinking before going to sleep? When you get up from sleep, to which thought did the mind wake up to? This sutra says, let the mind rest in awareness in the waking state. Let this awareness be effortless. You will carry this awareness into sleep. Otherwise, the sleep state will be like jumping inside a dark well filled with ignorance. Asane shayane stitva niradaram vibhavayan. This is a state of I am this awareness. This is my nature. I remain in this awareness. The waking and sleep states come and go. They are happening in the screen of awareness. The awareness is the support for all. The awareness itself is niradaram. Swadeham manasi kshinekshanat kshinakshayo bhavet. The mind fades in the awareness. In human birth alone, that one can realize the truth. Human life is about awareness. The human birth is significant and should not be wasted, says the Shastram. I recollect a story that I heard a long back. It was said that Buddha was an elephant in his past life. It so happened that one day the elephant was caught in a deadly forest fire. It was about to run for cover. When the elephant lifted its leg to run, a rabbit took shelter under its leg. It was a safe place for the rabbit. The elephant was thinking now, should I crush the rabbit under my leg and run for cover? Or should I protect this rabbit? The elephant thought, I am not afraid of dying. Let me protect the rabbit. There is no difference between my life and that of the rabbit. The elephant stood there with absolute awareness. The forest fire consumed the elephant. The elephant was born as a human in the next birth because of the awareness. The human birth is the greatest gift. Live a life with total awareness. When you live a life with awareness in the waking state, you will naturally carry this to the sleep state. The waking and sleep states come and go. There is no difference between the waking and the sleep states. They are happening in the screen of awareness. I am this awareness. I am neither identified with the waking or the sleep states. I am Niradaram. This is my nature. This is the dharana in the sutra. Asane shayane sthitva Niradaram vibhavayan swadeham manasi kshine kshanat kshina shayo bhavet. When you sit down or when you are sleeping, be firmly established in the state of no support. In that moment, the mind fades away in the awareness.